சுதா வந்து ஓ லைவ்
Okay.
ஸ்ட்ரீம் ஆயிடுச்சு.
Okay, பண்ணிடுவாங்க.
என்னமோ
Okay.
ஆயிடுச்சு மேடம். I don't know. Hi everybody.
Hi.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know where this is streaming live. After all the challenges, எங்கேயோ இருக்கு இது. எங்க இருக்குன்னு தான் எனக்கு தெரியல. So I'm also going to record this on my system meanwhile.
Okay.
சரிங்களா?
ஓ லைவ் ஸ்ட்ரீம்
லைவ் ஸ்ட்ரீமும் போயிட்டு இருக்கு. நான் ரெக்கார்டும் பண்றேன் as a backup
Okay,
இருக்கு.
பண்ணிடுவாங்க.
Yeah, we are already on live right now.
Hi everybody.
Hi. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know where this is streaming live. After all the challenges, எங்கேயோ இருக்கு இது. எங்க இருக்குன்னு தான் எனக்கு
இது என்னாச்சு?
சோ திரும்ப கேக்குது வாய்ஸ்.
Now let's see what a mess this is.
Yeah, இப்போ ஓகே ஆயிடுச்சு. Yes.
So the
திரும்ப
window was open. So I think it was playing from the window. Okay, we'll have to edit this video. Okay, let us start from the beginning. Madam, இது பயங்கர unusual இருக்கு உங்க ஸ்டோரி மாதிரி. இந்த லைவ் செஷன் ஒரு பேங்கோட ஸ்டார்ட் ஆகுது. Okay, good evening everybody. So இது வந்து ஒரு நைஸ் சாட்டர்டே ஈவினிங் அண்ட் விஜயலட்சுமி மேடம் எங்களோட மெம்பர், ஒன் ஆஃப் அவர் நியூவர் மெம்பர்ஸ் எங்களோட இருக்காங்க இன்னைக்கு டு ஷேர் ஹர் ஸ்டோரி வித் அஸ். அண்ட் தனலட்சுமி எங்க ப்ரோக்ராம் மேனேஜர். ஹாய் தனா, தேங்க்யூ ஃபார் அரேஞ்சிங் திஸ். தனா தான் ரொம்ப சொன்னாங்க உங்களோட பண்ணலாம் லைவ் அப்படின்னு. ஸோ தமிழ் இங்கிலீஷ் ரெண்டுலேயும் மாற்றி பேசலாம். ஸோ வில் ஸ்பீக் அ பிட் வில் டாகல் பிட்வீன் போத் த லாங்குவேஜஸ். யா, ஹாய் மேடம், வெல்கம். So I'm going to let's talk a little bit about you. I mean, Parivarthan is also new to you. So what we do normally is any member whose story has a significant takeaway for others in the community, we have a live program for them, which will be actually educational for others in terms of how they can manage Parkinson's. உங்க ஸ்டோரி எல்லாருக்கும் யூஸ்ஃபுல்லா இருக்கிற மாதிரி ஒரு மோஸ்ட் ஆஃப் த மெம்பர்ஸ் வி ஸ்பீக் டு தேர் இஸ் ஆல்வேஸ் அ டேக் அவே, கேர் கிவர் ஆகட்டும், மெம்பர் ஆகட்டும். ஸோ இப்போ உங்களை பத்தி நம்ம கொஞ்சம் பேசலாம். ஓகே, நீங்க எங்க இருக்கீங்கன்னு சொல்லுங்க. Where do you live?
Currently, I'm living in Chennai. I live in Sholiganallur. So, yeah, I have recently moved here. I moved here last November. So it was some issues with you there. We wanted to move. We wanted to have our parents live with us, and all our family is in Chennai. So after spending most of my life in the northern part of India, I moved to Chennai. Yeah.
Where were you before you came to Chennai?
So I was in a place called Faridabad, which is near Delhi. And I've traveled a lot. So I was before coming to Faridabad, I lived in UK for 2 years, which was a bit of a life-changing time for me. That is where I was diagnosed formally with Parkinson's.
In UK, is it?
So in UK, there is a test called a DAT-SPECT test, which confirmed that I have Parkinson's.
I see.
And because I had been suffering for so long with so many medications, and I was on levodopa for such a long time, they said it's juvenile Parkinson's. I started levodopa when I was 11 years old. Sorry.
You just like straight went into the kill. That was supposed to be like the big reveal, and then we just started off with that. Wait,
I had it.
From where are you from? Where did you move to Chennai from? I'm from Faridabad in UK. அப்படியே போயிடுச்சு மேடம். ஒரே நிமிஷம் இருங்க.
That's okay. I'm so sorry because one of the things about me you will learn is that I tend to jump from one place to another. So
I know. I'm getting that sense. That's okay. Let's just go with the flow. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So இப்போ நீங்க நிறைய points சொல்லிட்டீங்க இல்லையா? So one question, one answer. அந்த மாதிரி வெச்சுக்கலாம். Then it will just lead to one to the other. No problem. This is about your life. We are very keen to know, but let's just go in an order. So கேக்குறவங்களுக்கும் ஈஸியா இருக்கும். ஃபரீதாபாத்ல எவ்வளவு வருஷம் இருந்தீங்க மேடம்?
17 years.
Oh, that's a long time. அங்க work பண்ணிட்டு இருந்தீங்களா?
So I was working on and off. I'm a chartered accountant, basically. So a qualified chartered accountant means I passed all my exams and everything is done. But partially due to health, partially due to the circumstances, I'm not able to start a career. So
okay,
I wasn't able to start a career. So now I stay at home. I'm a stay at home.
But நீங்க ஃபரீதாபாத்ல இருக்கல work பண்ணிட்டு இருந்தீங்களா?
I was working off and on. I did a lot of jobs. But somehow I was not able to settle down in any work.
புரியுது. Madam, tell me a little bit about your family. Who is in family? யாரெல்லாம் இருக்கா கூட?
First, I have my husband. I have two daughters. My daughters are 25 and 18.
Oh.
My older daughter is in the US. She's working she lives in New Jersey. She's working in the Bank of America. There, she did engineering from IIT, and then she went to Georgia Tech, and from there she got a job, right? And she's staying there. And my younger daughter she finished her 12th last year. Now she's in a place called Kriya. It's in Sri City. I don't know if you've heard of the place.
I've heard of Kriya University. Yes. How nice. Wonderful, madam.
So she is going to complete her first year, and then she will decide as to what she wants to do.
Nice. So now your second daughter lives with you and your husband.
No,
all of you
she
are
lives in the hostel. She lives in the
okay.
hostel.
But நீங்களும் உங்க husband தான் இருக்கீங்க.
So, other than that, I have my father-in-law, who's living with us, and my parents. Both my parents are with us. So in the house we are basically, one of our reasons to move to Chennai was that I want all my parents, his parents together.
This is a wonderful. இதுவே ஒரு பெரிய டேக்அவேயா இருக்கு. So உங்க father-in-law and your parents all are living with you.
Yeah, I do. My mother-in-law is no more. So she just passed away last year.
So இல்லாட்டி எல்லாரும் 4 பேரும் உங்களோட தான் இருந்தாங்க அப்போ.
இல்ல அதான்
she passed away, so you moved. Absolutely moved.
Yeah, you can say that.
Yeah.
So we wanted our father-in-law to take care of him. He would be alone, and but now it's like all three of them are there with us. So they are basically, I'm in charge of taking care of them.
Correct. This is very interesting point. உங்ககிட்ட நாங்க இன்னைக்கு என்ன பேசிட்டு இருக்கோம், that you have PD, how are you managing PD ன்னு, but உங்களுக்கு twin role இருக்கு பாருங்க. I think everybody should note this.
My children are out now. It's my turn to take care of my parents and in-laws.
Correct. Wait, I'll finish my sentence.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
So I was just saying that you are also having this huge health challenge while you're also a caregiver. So this is what ends up happening. Something highlighted. And also as a woman, you also will have so many other responsibilities. In terms of caregiving, it's not the same as a man is a caregiver or a female as a caregiver. So there are a lot of differences in roles, something for us to keep in mind. Ipo PD patti onnona pesalam because there's so much to unravel. And I'm going to take your suggestion. Let's start with DBS எந்த வருஷம் பண்ணி இல்ல first எனக்கு இன்னொரு விஷயம் சொல்லுங்கம்மா. என்ன ஏஜ் ஆகுது உங்களுக்கு? வயசு என்ன?
My age, so I'm 51 now. I'm 51.
Very young. Number one, that is very young for anyone even to get diagnosed with Parkinson's even normally. Idiopathic Parkinson's 51 நாளே சின்ன வயசு தான். நீங்க அதுக்குள்ள டிபிஎஸும் பண்ணிட்டேன்னு சொன்னீங்க. இது வந்து டீப் பிரெயின் ஸ்டிமுலேஷன் ஒரு சர்ஜரி. இது மெடிசின்ஸ் தவிர இந்த சர்ஜரி பண்ணா கொஞ்சம் சிம்டமேட்டிக் ரிலீஃப் கிடைக்கும் வழக்கமா. There is usually some symptomatic relief. So lot of people opt for DBS, but you need to be eligible for it. Madam, which year did you do DBS?
So my DBS was another story. But I will not.
Which year? No. Answering the question. Which year did you do DBS?
Okay, my DBS was done in March 2020.
Okay, just 4 years back. So I'm building a timeline. So bear with me. So now you're 51. 4 years before you did DBS. So just to give everybody a context, DBS is usually done for anybody with Parkinson's after they have lived with Parkinson's for some time, and then there are some, let us just say the Syndopa, the primary medicine for Parkinson's, is not working as well as it should. But it is also working to some extent. That time, usually doctors recommend if you're eligible to go for DBS. So you're already young, like 51, but you did it 4 years back when you're in your late 40s. That means, what were your major, just elaborate to us. What was your symptoms or your problems just before DBS that made you decide to have the surgery, madam?
So we have been, there is Dr. Madhuri Bihari in AIMS, and she said that I should go in for DBS. So first suggestion about DBS came from a neurophysician. Okay. She used to be in AIMS earlier. Now she's working with Fortis. So that's the first thing. So then we started our research.
Tell me what were your symptoms? Why did you even feel you need to go for a DBS?
DBS was done because the medicines had literally stopped taking effect.
Tell me your physical condition. Were you able to walk? How were you feeling? Describe.
I was not walking. So I was not walking. First of all, I was not walking. My medicine, I was mostly on off time. So I was immobilized, you can say. I was not I was totally immobilized. I could not stand up. I could not do anything for myself. I even going to the toilet was a big challenge. But somehow I would make it to the toilet. So my biggest challenge was I was absolutely frozen. I was not able to do the day-to-day activities. I was not able to give myself a bath. I was not able to. I was immobilized. You can say that was one reason why we seriously considered DBS at that time.
Correct. Madam, at that time, how much Syndopa were you taking per
Okay,
day?
so I was taking 7 tablets a day.
7, like 100 mg or 120
100
mg?
mg, 100 mg,
100 mg, you're taking how many times? 7.
7 times a day. Yeah.
7 times a day, still you are
Mhm.
frozen, you are immobilized.
Yeah.
Then your doctor suggested you go in for DBS.
Yes, you can say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now you can elaborate on your story. அப்புறம் என்ன பண்ணீங்க?
My doctor had suggested while I was healthy. While I was the medicine, when I went to the doctor and the time she suggested was when I was still okay. So you should know one thing about DBS. Can I just elaborate on this, what DBS is? So DBS
Please talk,
now,
please.
so DBS is two parts. One part is when they place the electrodes in your brain. So that in which they drill a hole in your head, two holes they do on the left side and the right side. And then they will drill the hole, and all this, whatever is done it's done under local anesthetic. So only minor, a very mild part is done under all the main part of placing electrodes in the, it's called the substantia nigra area something. It is done in when you're awake. So the doctors can make out whether they're placing the electrodes in the correct spot. So when doctor suggested at that time, I was still under. She suggested it herself. She said it will prolongate the quality of my life, right? Because I was still very young. 47 is literally nothing in today's time. In today's time and technology, with the technological advancement, it's nothing. So that was what she suggested, but I was scared of that. By the time we did some research, we spoke to other doctors, they all agreed with her that I should probably go and do TBS. So, but by the time the actual moment came, my off symptoms, you know about on time and off time. My on time was very minimal. It had become really low. It had come down considerably. I would be uncomfortable. I could neither sit, nor I could stand, nor I could lie down. I was having severe dyskinesias. All my, what you have like dyskinesias are the dancing movements, with repetitive dancing movements. I was having every imaginable symptom of Parkinson's, and it was really enhanced. So that
Tell
was
me
a very
one thing, madam. By the time doctor suggested for you to go in for DBS, and by the time all these symptoms aggravated, it became very bad. How long was that period? Like a year, 2 years?
maybe about 4-5 months, a few months.
4-5
I wouldn't-
months.
Yeah. It suddenly my whole thing, I just went, it became really bad. It has been a lifetime of being on levodopa, right? So
Correct. Let's go to that.
Hmm.
Okay, now let's finish the DBS story. So where did you get your DBS done?
So DBS was done for me in AIMS in
AIMS.
Delhi.
AIMS Delhi.
My neurophysician is Dr. Rupa Rajan there, and the surgery was done by Dr. Manmohan Singh. So the thing about DBS is the surgeon is only there till he places the electrodes, and he
Correct.
places the battery in your
Correct.
chest. But major work like program, and so there's a battery which needs to be programmed that sends electronic messages, electronic charge to the electrodes. Okay, the battery will send how much charging has to be done, and that is very technical. So that is done by the neurophysician. So that Dr. Rupa does. But placement and everything is seen by the the connection with the surgeon starts before the surgery and ends with the surgery. Only it's your physician who is the most important person in
Correct.
your life.
Yeah. So once that was done at AIMS, how was your symptoms after that?
So the thing is that my symptoms improved almost immediately. And once the proper tuning was done, and I was discharged right away. So also she brought down my medication considerably. So where I was taking 7 tablets a day, today I'm taking only 2 tablets a day. And that I split them in half.
Yeah.
So 4 times a day, half a tablet.
How is your mobility now, madam?
My mobility is amazing. I'm I mean, I'm quite mobile. I do a lot of running. I have been last year. I did 2 treks. I went up to almost 11,000, more than 11,000 feet. I did twice. So
Oh,
that is,
wow.
and my DBS machinery was okay.
Wow.
So it can.
Inga poning in the trek. Where did you do this trek?
So this was in the Himalayas. I went to a place called Harkidun in Uttarakhand and another place called Kuari Pass. So what I'm saying, the DBS, the equipment stays. I mean, I
Yeah,
was having
in the
no
hand.
problem with my equipment. The equipment was,
Excellent.
which is a very important thing that, at such heights, one would think that there might be a problem.
Yeah,
with the
yeah, if
equipment,
there
that
are
is
any,
what
yeah.
it-
Lot of people ask if there are any issues even while, taking a flight
You
after
can drive,
DBS.
yeah.
இருக்கான்னு
There
அப்படி
are no
கேட்பாங்க
issues.
நிறைய பேரு.
I travel a lot and I've traveled a lot since my DBS. So flight, the only thing is security, like you have to be very careful. Because
Correct.
a lot of people I really want to make this for people with DBS. You have to be very careful when you go through the security. So you have to tell them that you've had DBS, that you have Parkinson's, because a lot of them feel that pacemaker it is allowed. But the security is the sensors or the scanners, they're eligible. You can do pacemakers, but it's not for DBS patients. Okay, so for DBS it's different. My doctor specifically told me, be careful in shopping malls. Even the shopping malls, you have to be careful. You have to be
Yeah.
careful with that rod, the hand thing, the hand thing which they use to check you. Even that you should try not to. And if you get some dental work done, then also you have to be careful because it's near your head, right? So
Yeah.
stuff like that, you have to be very careful with all
Very
that.
careful. So I can see that your quality of life improved tremendously, which is an
Yes.
understatement still,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's excellent, madam. Now let's go back to, you're saying you're 47 and you became very immobile because you've been using Sindopa for such a long time. Now define what is this long time. When did you first start taking Sindopa?
Like I said, I started, Sindopa was given to me the first time by Dr. Ramamurthy. When I was 11 years old.
When you were
So
11 years old?
Yes.
You got
Yes.
Sindopa when you were 11 years old?
Yes. Because I had a lot of symptoms which were Parkinsonian.
Wait. Where were you that time?
I was living in Chandigarh at that time. We had heard about Dr. Ramamurthy, who's a very good neurosurgeon, a neurophysician, and he suggested, why not try levodopa?
But
Because
what were the symptoms, madam? At 11 years old, what were the symptoms that your parents thought this is a neuro issue?
So I wasn't able to walk.
Like
I
you
was not
couldn't
able to walk. I was not able to walk. See what happened? The journey probably started when I was 5. So I had can I elaborate on that? Is that
Yeah, please. Yeah.
So what happened when I was 5 years old is that I was very ill. We don't know what kind of illness it was. So a certain doctor thought it is malaria. I had a fever of over 100, 105, over 100 degrees, and it wouldn't come down. So the doctor gave me quinine, after which I went into a semi-comatose state where my eyes were open, but I was immobile. When I came
How old
out,
were you?
I was about 5.
Oh my God.
So we still don't know, because we still don't, that kind of time is quite of undocumented in my life. It is only what I knew from my parents and what I've heard. And most of it, like till the age of 20, maybe, is all based on memory, which is kind of hazy. I remember maybe after my marriage, I remember most of those stuff, and I got documentation, because when we were young, all that wouldn't happen. So I went into a semi-comatose state. When I came out of it, I forgot how I wasn't able to walk. And slowly
So you had temperature. You were just having fever. Medicine was given. You went into semi-comatose state for how long, madam?
It was for a week.
Bah.
My mother would sit by my side and tell me stories. So, and when I came out of the coma, I would remember that she'd been telling stories, but I wasn't able to tell her.
Respond that time.
Yeah.
And when you came out of the coma state, you couldn't walk.
I wasn't able to walk. Little by little, my hands became weaker. So physiotherapy.
Was it tremors, madam? Were there tremors?
There were no tremors. I've never had tremors. I've never had tremors.
Never had tremors.
Never had tremors. Now my hands tremble a little bit.
Okay.
Age and everything, but I never had the way they say Parkinson's patients have tremors like this. That has never been there.
Wow. So you just couldn't walk.
I couldn't walk. I was walking at scissors gait. It's called a scissors gait.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
crossing
like
the
that.
road.
Yeah, yeah.
That was the major symptom. I also, you wear those I don't know what it's called, but the foot support, no, you wear the special shoe.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I was wearing that to walk, which was quite painful to walk in the shoes. It's not easy.
yeah.
And little by little, I started developing that ant-like handwriting, which is associated with Parkinson's
Yeah,
patients.
small,
Very
scrawly,
small,
small.
tiny, very small. It's like an ant is walking on paper.
Yeah.
So that is what I developed. And meanwhile, doctors were saying, none of the doctors ever thought that a 5-year-old child could get
I
Parkinson's.
know.
And this is,
And
I'm
I think
talking
it's
about
genius
70.
that Dr. Ramamurthy even thought of giving you Sindopa.
Yes, yes, he was. But he
So
also
tell me,
didn't.
I just want to capture this moment. So, uh, but he was not practicing where you were living, isn't it?
No, he wasn't practicing where I was living.
He was back in
Um,
Chennai.
He was in Chennai. He has passed away, but
No,
he
that
was
I
one
know.
of the top. I must have heard of him.
That's
I
what
mean,
I'm
he was
saying. I know he passed
doctor.
away. That time he
Yeah,
must have been in
he was
Chennai.
in Chennai.
So
Yeah.
from wherever you were living, you came to Chennai, is it? To meet Dr.
Yes.
Ramamurthy.
So my
Because there
family
was
lives
no
in Chennai.
solution to this.
My family is in Chennai. All my mother's side of the family, my father's side of the family, everybody is based in Chennai. My father was in the north. My
Right.
grandparents are in the north.
Right.
But my
So you thought, okay, let's go to Chennai and consult this doctor.
we
He
were
said,
suggested before Dr. Ramamurthy, there was another gentleman called Dr. Kalyana Raman. So
yeah,
he suggested we see Dr. Ramamurthy.
okay.
So Dr. Kalyana Raman had put me through to physiotherapy. He thought physiotherapy would help me a lot,
Correct.
which it did.
Which
Quite
good,
some
yeah, but only to some extent, right? Yeah.
extent, because this is basically deficiency of a certain protein which is produced by the body, right? That's
Okay.
what level is.
Okay. So, okay, then you went to Dr. Ramamurthy and he said, why don't you try Sindopa?
Yeah. He gave me
Okay,
a very
how
small
much?
dose.
Sorry?
At that time, it wasn't Sindopa. There was no Sindopa. India did not manufacture Cinemet.
Yeah, what was it
There was-
called?
It was called Cinemet. I used to get it from. It was an Italian medicine, which was very difficult to get. In
My,
India, there was no Sindopa at
there
that
was
time.
no Sindopa. This
For
is like
a long
almost like
time.
50 years back, there was no Sindopa.
Yeah, there was no
Oh,
Sindopa. There was no treatment for older people. There was no treatment, kind of a thing.
there
People
was
didn't
literally
know
no
what
treatment. You're right.
literally no treatment. Parkinson's wasn't even an acknowledged
Even
disease.
now, nobody knows, madam. Okay, wait. So he gave this medicine name and you
Yeah.
got it. You got it imported from.
Managed to get. Yeah, we managed. There was very few suppliers in
Correct.
India. We didn't get it from Italy, but yeah, it was very low. It was a very low.
It was not common. Like you can't walk into a shop and buy that sort of a thing.
Yeah, you have to
You have to
order
place
for
an
it.
order. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Was it
So
expensive?
yeah, very expensive. It was very expensive, and we used to find that was one big. That was a challenge again,
That
because
was
my
a
father
challenge.
was a cop. So my father was a
Correct.
cop,
Correct.
and
So tell
honest
me
cop.
one thing. Tell me one thing. How many tablets did he prescribe in a day back then? Do you remember?
So he prescribed the minimum possible dose, which was a
Yeah.
quarter of a syringe.
Quarter.
So for a long time it worked.
So tell me, no, wait. So when you took the first time a quarter of this Cinemet, how did you feel?
I don't remember.
Ah,
I
obviously.
don't remember, but like within a few days, I was feeling better. I was feeling like I could do whatever regular.
Okay, at least you were walking and your braces
I was
came off.
walking. Yeah, braces came off. I was walking around. First time I felt like I'm a normal person.
Normal
Like,
person.
then I used to feel very weak. I was very, I didn't understand what was happening to my body. So,
My goodness, what a
Yeah.
shock for your parents. Were you the
Yeah.
first child?
I am the oldest in my family.
Oh my God, you are the eldest
So
child.
when I was born, I was absolutely normal.
Of course.
And in not just in my family, I was not just to my parents. I was the oldest in the whole paternal and maternal side.
Maternal side with the first grandchild.
And maternal side.
Oh my goodness.
And I mean, my mother says I was a beautiful baby, but that's the
You
mother's.
still are beautiful. What are you saying?
No, I'm just telling you what I mean. So for them to think their daughter has got a disease which is not.
Juvenile Parkinson's, yeah. Then, madam, tell me one thing. You said you were in UK and that's the first time something happened. What
Yes.
was that? Tell me a little bit more.
So kept, me and my husband, we wanted to find a solution. So somebody told us, they referred to us to a Dr. Kailash Bhatia, who was practicing in UK. Dr. Rupa, I think, or somebody, I don't remember who suggested him. And so we went to him. And then he suggested that we should get the test done.
Okay, tell me, how old were you that time?
I would have been in my 30s, early 30s, I think.
Okay, one more question.
2006, yeah.
Okay, when you got married, how was Sindopa at least that time in your 20s available in India?
No, it wasn't.
Even then, no?
Then Sindopa, no, yeah, it was available. Sindopa started when I was maybe a bit before I got married. We started getting Sindopa. I think 94. I had a severe attack of dystonia.
Oh my God,
1994. So I have been, I mean, this dystonia in which my neck turned to my right. And
No
I was like
kidding.
this. So
It
it was
just
like
did.
this. It just, basically there was something happened. I went into a kind of, again, I kind of fainted or I passed out and I don't remember what happened. But when I
Okay.
came out of that attack, my neck was like this.
Oh my
So I couldn't
goodness.
turn my neck, and that lasted for more than 10 days.
How old were you that time?
It was 94.
Before
So I must have
marriage?
been 21 or 22. 21,
Oh.
22. This was before my marriage.
And how did it come back, madam?
With the time, it just came
Oh, it
back
just
to
got
normal.
off. Oh
It
my
just came
goodness.
went. It was a very bad case, I think, of dystonia probably at that time. At that time, I didn't know so much because we didn't have so much of access to the internet.
Yeah. Even now, not really. Tell me one thing. See, around the time you got married, when you were in your 20s, how many Sindopas were you taking?
I was taking a couple of Sindopas at that time, 2 tablets
Okay.
maybe.
And you were mobile, you could do your work, you could study, you could concentrate,
Yeah.
you could walk comfortably. So if
Yes, I
somebody
was
looks at you,
driving.
could they say that you're going through some major issue like this?
No.
Not really.
I never told anybody. I
You
never
never
even
said.
told anybody I have a disease. I would say these are proteins or they are vitamins or something.
Some
Because people say,
deficiency.
what is wrong? Because I myself didn't have any answers for them.
Did you understand that time, madam, what Parkinson's was when you were in your 20s? Did you understand it?
So when I was in my 20s, I had heard about Parkinson's, but I never wanted to accept that I have Parkinson's.
But
For
you
me,
had heard, but you were
I'd
told
heard.
you have Parkinson's. You were aware of that.
I wasn't told. I was never told till I was 33 years old. Till then, it was like Parkinson's. I had undergone all the tests. I mean, I had undergone a lot of tests as a child. So
Okay, so you were thinking you have some sort of deficiency,
yeah,
and this
some
medicine will
deficiency.
help that.
Yeah, will help that. That is about it.
That's about it.
There was no test. There is no test for Parkinson's.
And you know, like when you were going about in your everyday life, you just felt as normal as the other person, is it?
Absolutely normal. With levodopa, my life was a dream. Till I got my first.
Like, were you still taking quarter throughout the day or half or what?
I was taking some when I was on Sindopa, which is 100 mg. Cinemat used to be 250 mg.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So Cinemat was a higher. It is like
Dose, yeah.
Then you used to have Cinemat and Cinemat CR.
Yeah.
You heard of that's like Sindopa CR.
Yeah. So you would take how many of that in a day?
Well, earlier it was quarter. The number of times went up. So the frequency went up first. So
Madam,
that
tell me one thing. In that young age, right? So when you say take one medicine at say 9 a.m. and then the next dose is say at 12 p.m. Between one dose to the other, did you ever feel a little bit more tired? Was there any sort of an off time by the time you were in your 20s?
No. When I was younger, I didn't know about on and off time, but I was always had a very smooth from if I had one at 9 and if I had one at say 2 o'clock, it was always a smooth transfer.
In between, you didn't have any discomfort.
No.
Nothing at all. It was just like, okay, these are the medicines I need to take, and I would just take them.
If I don't take it, I'll have a problem. Better take it and remember.
Correct. So that was about to be my next question. So, see, if I was in your position and me being as foolish as I am, if somebody tells me take it, sometimes I'll just ignore and I may not take. So, have you ever missed medications? Have you ever, for a couple of days, not taken medication? Then what happens?
So once or twice I've experienced not having my medicines, and that time I just go and I lie down. I can't move because of my disc kinesias go up. So I start shuffling my feet And
Like,
my neck, I still have a problem. Like, I can't support my neck. Like, when we saw each other, my anxiety increases.
Anxiety.
And anxiety and Parkinson's are directly related.
Directly. I think even, I keep telling this to them, I think even for us it is true, but in Parkinson's it's obvious.
Yeah, it's very obvious. I will be sitting like this, my neck, you can make out that something is can be wrong. So it is a vicious circle. Anxiety, Parkinson's increases, Parkinson's increases, anxiety increases. So one of the things is to control anxiety is very important.
Very
to control
important.
either through your yoga or exercises. For me, exercises majorly worked. So anxiety is something which I have to deal with. So I'm also, not only am I dealing with neurologists, I'm also having to have psychiatrists also. Psychiatrists are also an important part of my whole team. The team that helps me to stand today.
Of course. Oh, I completely understand. Okay, tell me, so you were just thinking there is like some deficiency and I take this medicine and I'm all right, some sort of protein deficiency. And you got married and in your 30s, somebody said there is this doctor in the UK, why don't you go get a diagnosis from him?
No, nobody told us. So nobody had told us because we were very active in finding a cure.
Oh, I just don't want to be dependent on this medicine. So what do I do to just get rid of this problem?
How do I get
What is
rid of
this
the
problem that I
medicine?
have?
Exactly. I wanted to put a name to the thing. Till I was in my early 30s, till the time I came to UK, we still didn't have a name. See, it was Parkinson's. Somebody said Parkinson's, Parkinsonian, something. Somebody said encephalitis. Because I don't know if you have seen the movie with Al Pacino called Sleeper. It's called Sleepers or something. Do look it up. So in that, a bunch of people are given dopamine and they come to life. So it was.
Yeah, I've heard of this.
Have you heard about that?
I've heard of this. Yeah.
So
I've
somebody
heard
said
of
could be
this.
encephalitis. I was also told it could be encephalitis, for which they did a lumbar puncture, which in UK again, in UK, Nottingham. I was living in Nottingham. So we were.
So you're based in UK. Your husband was working in UK that time.
Yes, he was working in UK.
Okay, it's not like you went to UK to see a doctor. That was my impression.
No.
Okay.
So because we spoke to our doctors in India, in the AIMS. I've been with AIMS since 1994. I've been going to AIMS. Before that, we were seeing Dr. Ramamurthy continuously.
Okay.
But we realized the need for a local doctor because I couldn't come running to Chennai every time I had a problem. And, so when we moved to UK, we like I said, we were very proactive. We didn't want. I had this medical problem. We wanted to find out what it is. I had to know. And I remember the day that he told me that yes, you have Parkinson's was a very emotional day. So I remember I have my two daughters. One was 8 years old, and one was a baby. Sorry. So it was just I was like the one thing that I didn't want.
I know.
It was in my.
I know.
Sorry.
No. So when you got married, you can't even tell your husband to be that I could be having some this because
I told him.
Didn't know.
I didn't know.
You would have told him, look, I have some issue, I'm taking this medicine, and he would have been like, okay.
Yes, he was like that. So I got lucky in my life partner. I never wanted to get married because I thought that what if I have children and they have the same problem?
Yeah. Madam, how was it to be pregnant? How was that phase? Did you have any special issues that time? How was the delivery for you?
I'm sorry I didn't let you complete your question. I had a very good pregnancy. The first baby was fine. I was taking the only medicine I was on was levodopa. And so both my pregnancies, I couldn't give up on levodopa because I had to have that. Other than that, I stopped all my any other medicines that I was taking. I stopped anything to support like agonists, like say I don't remember, and Capone, I think, right? And I don't remember the name, but I think I was on that with cinnamon. So I was taking just plain cinnamon. I wasn't taking Capone with it.
Oh, okay. Even then you were taking on cinnamon. Okay. And it was smooth pregnancy. You were like fine.
I was fine, but my body was weak, so I couldn't do a normal delivery. Both my children were delivered through cesareans. But touch wood, luckily for me, my children have not shown any symptoms. They are fine right now. I mean, it's still a bomb, and it's like a ticking bomb in my life, basically.
Yeah,
But,
I understand. Madam,
but
tell me one thing. Tell me one thing. Like you were consulting Dr. Ramamurthy, like all your young adult phase, and then
Yes.
you moved to Delhi, and then you are thinking, okay, let us switch doctors, and you go to AIMS. In all this time, has anybody told you you have Parkinson's or not?
So there was one person when I told you about my dystonia when I was very. So there was one young doctor who was visiting from one of these Finland or Sweden or somewhere. He walks into the room and he says, "Oh, she has juvenile Parkinson's." And I was like, "What?" Without just he just looked at me and he said it. And I was like, who the hell are you to tell me that? I mean, you don't have anything, you don't know anything. And that was like a slap in my face.
This was in AIMS, madam. This was in AIMS.
This was a PGI. So I have been traveling a lot. So this was then before my marriage. I had gone to Chandigarh. I was preparing for CA exams at that time. So probably the pressure, probably the anxiety, everything, all sorts of things culminated into getting this attack, in which resulted in severe dystonia of my neck. So just this 1 second before you ask me your next question. So we were told that there's a lady doctor, Dr. Madhuri Bihari, who specializes in Botox injections. Botox injections are another part of Parkinsonian treatment. So once you start them, you have to have them every 3 months.
Correct.
So she said, so we went to Madhuri Bihari for that. We were still in Chandigarh. We were traveling for my treatment. My parents were very proactive. I mean, they not only did they take me to every temple in in India, they also took me to every doctor. So that's what I think got them through the whole thing. So I went to. So they took me to her for these Botox injections, which are again, very very. That time again, this was in the late 80s, early 90s. We're talking about that period. And Dr. Madhuri was a specialist in Botox injections at that time. But she said that, no, I don't need Botox injections. And she put me on the I don't remember the combination of medicines, honestly. I can't tell you. I can tell you about my experiences with her. One thing she suggested for this is something I would recommend if a person has off time or feels that there is there's some kind of time missing. She gave me a small, we called it our magic potion. What I would do is, she told me to take some lime juice and some soda and put a bit of and dissolve some cinnamon in it.
Yeah. A lot of members do that now, madam.
Yeah, not a member. So what I would do is, I would take some nimbu pani and put some and then add, and I would carry it with me everywhere. It acts like that. It used to act like that. So that was the first time I learned how I can manage my off periods.
Yeah. So when you were consulting with her and when you had this dystonia attack, you were in the hospital. This doctor from Sweden walks in and he looks at you and says, "You have juvenile Parkinson's."
Yeah.
Wow.
That was a horrible. That was really a horrible thing. I mean, just blurted out like that wasn't expected. From a person coming from a country like that, where people are.
Exactly.
In India, the doctor just tells us, but in a place
exactly. You're not expecting this from a Western educated doctor.
Yes,
absolutely. Yes. Madam, had anybody at least gently told you about Parkinson's before that? So if I had not heard of word Parkinson's and somebody tells me you have juvenile Parkinson's, I won't be shocked because I don't know what it is. Did you by then know what is Parkinson's?
Yeah, I had an idea, but for me, Parkinson's was a disease for older people. I had never thought. I had an idea. People are not more, but again, see, we don't have the kind of. At that time, there was no lack of information. There's a lot of. We didn't have access to social media. We didn't have any access to Facebook or Wikipedia or anything. So how did I find out about Parkinson's? The only way is what is told to me. So we, from a little bit here, a little bit there, we found out about that there is a chance. It's there in my, like in 1994 or something. I had an extensive checkup done. That's again the time of my attack, before where a whole detailed checkup was done for me. And there they said, could it be Parkinson's? Could it be juvenile? What is it?
So yeah, so you've heard in your own journey, medical journey, off and on, doctors have mentioned the word could it be,
It was
but nobody
mentioned.
said it with the definite confidence saying this is
Nobody
what
said
you
it.
have.
So the first time was when I met that guy. Then that
Yeah.
person just before I met Dr. Madhuri, this one was said to told. And
Abba.
in a way that I was very vulnerable at that time because of my dystonia. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, that's a shocker. And all this was before your marriage also, right?
Yeah, this was before my marriage. Yes.
And as you said, it's very hard to accept that you have something like that.
Yes, it is very
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah. And when you were in UK, how did that doctor diagnose your PD that time?
Like I said, first the basic way to diagnose PD is clinical. So
Clinical.
yes, so the
Even
two things
now.
that determine PD is your first of all the symptoms are there,
Yeah.
and the second is your reaction to levodopa. If levodopa manages to decrease your this thing, then they say that you have PD.
Yeah.
Some form of PD. Now there's so much of research going on in PD.
Correct.
There are so many various variations of the
Correct.
gene that controls PD. But PD is PD, no matter what. You have to deal with it. Right? It doesn't matter what PD it is. It's just PD, right? Parkinson's is
Correct.
Parkinson's. You have to deal with it. I mean, you can think, ye pink hai, ye kya hai? And one of the doctors was like, you could probably name a gene after you. You don't know what it is, right? So, I mean, I have to deal with it now. So
Yeah. Did you run a test there in UK, madam?
Yes, it's
What
called
was
a
it? Can you
DAT.
repeat the name of the test?
I will spell it for you. It's called a DAT spect. So DAT-SPECT. You want to definitely try to get that test done.
Now
Again,
they
this
do
is
TRODAT, the same thing. TRODAT.
DAT. Okay.
TRODAT.
Mine was called SPECT-DAT. Again, this was done in like about 17, 18 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the result came as Parkinsonism.
It basically what the actual wordings were that my dopamine receptors are not working, are not producing in dopamine.
Correct.
That was the word. So you have Parkinson's.
So you have.
So, I mean, that was the word. Those were the words which were given to me in the test. So that's what. So yeah.
Can you believe that 33 years old?
And getting this, yes.
And getting this diagnosis, yeah.
So
And when your kids are so
after
small.
the shock got off, I was happy.
At least you know what it is.
At least I know the devil before I fight it.
Yeah,
right?
then you know what you're dealing with, no? Yeah.
Yes. I called my closest friends and I told everybody that, look, this is it. Now you can know what I have. So if in case I'm not well, in case there is any issue, you know what to do.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I was crying at that time, and that moment makes me emotional. But the most important thing is that I accepted it. I said, fine, now I know what I have. Now I know what I should do to deal with it. And how should I deal with it? How should I live? What are the changes I need to make in my lifestyle? What should I do to basically improve my life? Manage it. Yes, it is manageable because Parkinson's is manageable.
Exactly. It's manageable and it
Till
can
we find a cure. Till a cure is found.
Till they find a cure. I really hope they find a cure. It'll be amazing for this and for dementia. Oh, that'll be a game changer.
So one of the funny things is a joke. I think it's a dark joke, but I will tell you this: is the doctors who were treating me in UK would say that if there was a menu in front of you with all kinds of neurological disorders, pick Parkinson's.
Big Parkinson's.
It's the easiest one to manage.
It is easier to manage. That is true, madam. That is true. You can go on to live a fairly good quality of life for a long time.
Yes.
It's just some are in a spectrum where it is Parkinson's plus or an aggravated form. That is a challenge, but usually you do end up having a good quality of life. Yeah, and dementia is one of the hardest, I would say.
Dementia is one of the hardest because I'm seeing my father going through it.
Does he have dementia?
Yeah, he's got the certain stages, yes.
Cognitive decline, it's very hard. And it's hard for you as somebody dealing with Parkinson's and for you to be a caregiver for somebody with dementia. It's not easy. How old is your father now?
My father is 82, I think now. Yeah, he's 82 now. So, but like my mother's a major caregiver is my mom. She's about 73, 74. He also has Parkinson's, but he got Parkinson's at a very late stage in life.
Your father?
Yes, my father has Parkinson's and dementia. I know a lot of older people who get post 70. I know a lot of people who are older than more than 70 when they are diagnosed with Parkinson's.
Correct. But unfortunately, these days, Zana and I are seeing a lot of diagnosis in their 50s. Madam, tell me one thing.
Yes.
In all these years, have you met others with juvenile Parkinson's?
I've never met anybody with juvenile Parkinson's.
Right?
Never. I
Not
have never
even in
met.
UK, madam. Not even in UK.
But I have not connected, but I've heard of one child in UK or in US, who was 12 years old. I'm in a lot of Facebook groups. So
Yeah.
this lady used to post about her. I've not heard from her for a long. She's not posted in a very long time because her child had all kinds of issues, including probably juvenile Parkinson's. So yeah,
Now,
that's
not
the only
me, no.
person.
It's a very, very, very rare occurrence. When Dana told me, I just couldn't believe. I was like, are you sure you got the age correct? Yeah, it's just heartbreaking. Yeah. Madam, tell me, like we are going to wind up very soon because this has been a really tough and a long journey for you, but you have also dealt with it with lot of grace and lot of courage, and acceptance, which is I find very difficult even in my life to accept even the smallest disappointments, right? You want something you don't get and you can't get over it. Oh, I want it, I worked for it, why didn't I get it? And then you get a disorder like this for which you have to manage all your life, and you have done it so beautifully, and now after DBS your quality of life has changed so much, and you have embraced it so well with your travels, with your hiking, with your positive attitude. I think you're making the best use of everything. Now, tell us something for people with Parkinson's or for people who are caring for Parkinson's. If you have to briefly say, what were your top 3 lessons in dealing with this for so long? What would you say?
So my first thing is accept what you have.
Accept.
So the first step to anything, the first step to any struggle is accept that you have a problem. But remember that there are ways to manage it. That's my first thing to anybody with Parkinson's. And don't lose hope. Hope is always there. Hope is the most important thing. And it's your life is in your hands. Once you know you have a certain problem, I see a lot of people saying, I don't want to have medicines. I don't want to live with medicines. So that is not the way to live with it.
That's not the attitude.
I met a very nice lady, Dr. Asha she used to be in and she told me that if there's a problem, take a medicine, so it will make you all right. There's no point in unnecessarily putting
Correct.
yourself in misery.
Very well said.
So I see people who have been diagnosed, but I will not take the medicine because it has
Yes.
side effects. If you're not, the longer
Yes.
you leave it, the longer you leave the treatment, the more difficult it becomes to start. So
Correct.
levodopa has, in my opinion, see, I'm not a doctor, and but the problem is that my life experience has been such that I've probably got more, I've lived for longer than a lot of people have actually worked have the experience of treating treating Parkinson's. So all I'd say is start with your medicines right away on the day the doctor tells you. Follow your doctor. I mean, don't leave it. At least in India, we are very lucky in India that we can get an appointment easily. We can get treatment faster. Whereas people I see in UK, US, they don't. It is not so easy for them to access help. In NHS and all, they give you dates and dates. I've experienced the NHS. So you don't get an appointment for days. You have to go. There is a certain path you have to follow. In the US, getting an appointment can be very expensive. DBS is very expensive and it's not covered by insurance in any country. In NHS, it's covered maybe, but not in even in India. So start with the treatment. Number 1 is treatment. Number 2, you must exercise every day.
Exercise every day.
Exercise is the most important. Whether you are doing yoga, whether you're doing meditation, and whether you are running, hiking, cycling, do something. Keep yourself moving, especially for people with young onset. Young onset is for people with young onset it's very difficult for them to believe that mere ko Parkinson's ho gaya. How the hell did I'm only 20, I'm only 25, I'm only 15. I have spoken to so many people who have through my Facebook. I've spoken people contact me or they DM me through Facebook, and I'm happy to talk to anybody. At any time you can message me on Facebook. I'm in through the groups basically. So first thing is you have to accept it. Accept it. Once you accept that challenge, and I know your life is going to change. You should accept that first. Secondly, start working towards building your muscles. Start working on yourself. Exercise produces dopamine.
Correct.
Okay. And there are a lot of people who come and tell you take this medicine, you take that. There are a lot of plant-based things that give you, but they are not very as reliable as the doctor. The doctor has
Correct.
spent a lifetime.
Correct.
The doctor has spent so much of time training on this. Listen to your doctor. If they don't, like there is something called macuna and stuff like that. So in case you take too much, it will result in either dystonia or dyskinesia. So please,
Mostly dyskinesia. Yeah.
people are like, if I don't, there is no harm in taking levodopa because
You
I
have to
started.
take levodopa.
You
There are
have
a
to
lot of people who will say, I won't take medicine, I'll just do only yoga.
if you have vitamin D,
நான்
yeah,
மருந்தே
only yoga.
மருந்தே சாப்பிட மாட்டேன். As
It's
if
a
that
matter
is
of
the
pride.
pride
It's not something to be proud of
to
because
be proud of.
yoga only
If you have
makes you
medicine,
better
if you have
after.
disorder, take medicine. Yeah, as
Yes.
simple as that.
See, if you have a deficiency, say you have a vitamin B deficiency, what do you do?
Exactly.
Or
You're not just going standing in sunlight all day long. You
Yeah, you
take
can't.
medicine.
Yeah, you take your medicine. You have to take that one bottle or whatever, one tablet of vitamin D every week, and you do it very happily. So basically, what is levodopa? It is a protein which was produced in your brain, which your brain is not producing anymore. So what do? You take it in a tablet form.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
it affects your
Madam,
brain.
we are a bit
I
out
think
of
that
time. Yeah,
yeah.
we're a bit out of time. Let me just summarize, but you stay back. To summarize, this is really great points. As Madam started off by saying, accept the fact that you have it. Then to manage life around that acceptance becomes easy because until you accept, you're just fighting it and denying yourself that you have it. So you're not even getting ready to, in fact, even take medicines. Then if you accept taking medications for it becomes easier, then you can manage the disorder better and you can start doing things that will actually make you a bit happier and what you like to do. Madam, I'll just summarize. And the third one, Madam said was exercise regularly. You have to exercise your muscles to stay fit. Last word to you. Please go ahead, Madam.
Just one thing more. So anxiety is another thing. Deal with your anxiety. Just because you're anxious, you can go to a psychiatrist for help.
Yes.
Going to a psychiatrist is very important because they will help you manage your anxiety. That is so important because people say, I've heard so many people say that I don't want to go to a psychiatrist because what will people think?
Stigma.
The stigma behind going to a psychiatrist should not be there. That's
Yeah.
the only thing. I think you can explain it better than me.
No. You have explained it beautifully.
Because
I mean,
had it not,
go on.
no, had I not gone to a psychiatrist,
Yeah.
I had other issues along with, I would have never gotten over my anxiety.
Absolutely. Madam, this holds true for even people without Parkinson's. When we are going through something traumatic, either professionally, personally, we need to talk to an expert. It's not, we can't solve everything, we can't do everything.
Yes,
We
absolutely.
need to seek help.
Seek help. Seek help.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to, okay, thank you. I can't thank you enough for being very generous with your story. And Dana, please, do you have any questions for Madam?
நோ சுதா எல்லாமே கவர்
Cover
பண்ற
ஆயிடுச்சா?
மாதிரி எல்லாமே கரெக்டா ரெண்டு
Madam
பேருமே
எல்லாம்
ரொம்ப
சொல்லிட்டாங்க.
எஸ் மேமும் சொல்லிட்டாங்க, நீங்களும் அதுக்கேத்த மாதிரி கொஸ்டின்ஸ் கேட்டீங்க. மெயினா வந்து எப்படி அதர் தெரபிஸ் வந்து மேம்க்கு ஹெல்ப் பண்ணுச்சு அப்படின்றதுதான் கேட்கணும்னு இருந்தேன். பட் அதுவுமே நல்லாவே
சொல்லிட்டாங்க
எக்ஸசைசஸ்,
மேடம்.
பிசிக்கல் ஆக்டிவிட்டிஸ் எல்லாமே ஹெல்ப் பண்ணுச்சுன்னு சொன்னாங்க. எஸ்.
Yeah. Thank you, madam. It's very generous of you to share so much about you. And this story will help a lot of people. Yeah. So stay back. I'm going to stop the live right now.
Thank you.